Howdy party people and space cadets, and welcome to Retro Random and Rare, the show where I talk about something from my personal collection that fits into one of, if not several of, the aforementioned categories. And on this week's episode, I'm going to be talking about M.U.S.C.L.E, or Muscle Things as we called them back then. A toy line that I absolutely just loved as a kid and really held on to this day. These are all my original Muscle Men. And as usual, let me throw on my creepy crusty human gloves and we'll get started. Now, M.U.S.C.L.E, when they came out, they just came out at the right time and captured my attention and my fancy like crazy. I absolutely loved them. And I wasn't even a wrestling fan. It was just the sci-fi monster wrestling element that I just went crazy for. And they really didn't have much of a backstory, at least not here, other than the little blurbs on the back of the big box about I think it was the Cosmic Crunchers and the Thud Busters. And led by Muscle Man and Terrible. And that was really all you had, which I find very interesting because some of you may know that this was actually all based on the Kinnikuman anime, which possibly a manga as well, which was a long-running series in Japan, a long-running wrestling series. So they brought over the little figures, I guess they're called Keshi figures, but they didn't bring over the anime, which to me that would have been like a no-brainer. All they would have to do was bring it, redub it, or dub it, and kind of change the character names to what they wanted, and they would have had so much bigger property. But who knows why they didn't, or the cost, or whatever the case may be. We kind of missed out on that. And that's a series I have always wanted to see, which I've never gotten around to. But anyways, let's move along. So, as a kid, Muscle Man was definitely my favorite of the characters in the figures, and I had no idea that he was supposed to be wearing a mask. I just thought he was a weird-looking dude with a mohawk. But yeah, definitely my favorite character, but not necessarily my favorite of the figures. But let's take a look at a few more. And then we have this guy here, who is another Kinnikuman, Muscle Man, kind of dressed in I called him Indiana Muscle Man when I was a kid, because he kind of looked Indiana Jones-ish. I guess probably the hat and all. Oh, really though, these were so much fun. I had almost all of them. I had the big poster that had all of them on it. I even had the little wrestling ring thing. Alright, next up we have this guy. I don't know his name, but I always thought was really cool. And there were several of this guy too. That was the interesting thing about M.U.S.C.L.E and Kinnikuman, these Keshi figures, was there was a bunch of different versions of the same characters, but since there was no real mythology behind it here, you didn't know if they were brand new characters, if they were the same character. But anyway, this guy with the helmet here popped up several times, but I just particularly liked this caped, kind of superhero-y looking version. I don't know, he was just really fun to fight with and to play with. It's fun stuff. And then we're getting into the more weirdy kind of stuff that I really like. But the thing that really stood out to me about this guy, and just the quirkiness of the line, he has on sneakers. You can't see that though, because this is very blurry. But he just has on little sneakers. So he's like a naked lizard man with a long tongue who's got on sneakers. He's stylish. And going along with the weirdness of all that, we have this guy who was another favorite of mine. Who, man, he really likes the lizard. There we go. Let's just knock everybody down and see if that helps with the focus issues. Still haven't gotten used to this new camera. And this is like a cool little turtle guy who he's wearing sneakers as well. And his shell is all laced up, all fancy like. Look at that fancy bow tie. I mean, that is just a fancy turtle man. Man. Very cool. And now, I'm going through this a lot faster than I thought I would, but the video is already much longer than I thought it was going to be. So I guess it evens out in my end. But we're going to look at my favorite figure, and this is one that I unfortunately could not find my original pink figure, and I just prefer the solid color ones, much like that wild and wacky owl from Them's Fighting Words and Kaiju Shorts likes the solid color monster in my pockets. I'm the same way, and I'm the same way with the original pink colors of the muscle things. But nonetheless, this is the one I have. Don't know what happened to the pink one. I guess he crawled away. But this was my favorite one as a kid. I don't know. I mean, how weird and random is this? It's a monster hand, which is cool and awesome to begin with, but it's a monster hand with a face on the middle finger. I mean, that is just creative. That is just awesome. And I had all kinds of hours of fun with this guy. He was, I mean, The play potential was unlimited, was just limitless. And since this is going a lot faster than I thought, I'm gonna dig through here in my bag and see about finding another character to look at and showcase. If you guys enjoy actually seeing these, I might make this little series and maybe eventually go through all. Okay, here's another case where I'm not totally sure where my original pink figure is, but I had this later colored edition, and that is this martial artist fella. I always thought he was really cool too. And I can almost imagine what his character would have been in the anime on the show, but yeah, I quite dug him. And finally we have this guy who, come on, focus. There, I guess he's a volleyball. Just very odd, very random with some of this stuff. Okay, one more. I was just kidding. There was like I said about that, I don't know if it was the same character or different characters, but this was a series of characters I thought was super cool too, was this blocky guy. Like, there was a whole bunch of these guys just in different blocky shapes, and he had that kind of weird symbol, and that's actually like a indentation there. He's got one on his forehead too. And again, it doesn't exactly lend itself to play exactly, but I had a ton of fun with them, so obviously it did. And here's another version, I'm assuming, of that same guy. This version of him's happy. Like, hey guys! The other guy looks happy too, but this one looks really happy. He's got like kind of rollery things. And I think I will stop right there. And if you guys like this, I'll do some more. And so yeah, I'm stopping there. Please like, comment, subscribe, and may your pants always be filled with muscle things.